Well, Dollar General stores are under fire again, this time from the mayor of Trotwood. Mary McDonald's video went viral along with her concerns about deplorable conditions and employees who are overwhelmed due to lack of training. News Center 7's Mike Campbell spoke with the mayor about what she saw and what she wants to see in the future.
This whole push for better customer service and better conditions inside the store in Trotwood for employees came about because the mayor came in here to spend her money and didn't like at all what she saw.
2 dogs, vulgar music playing, and just filthy conditions still.
This Facebook Live video was posted by the mayor of Trotwood a week after she spoke with store and regional managers and was assured her concerns would lead to change. It didn't, so she documented the blocked aisles and what she called inappropriate music.
These companies, they seem to maybe not necessarily train their employees that, it's important to treat people with dignity and respect regardless to what store it is.
The mayor said she spotted children terrified because of 2 pit bulls in the store, not service dogs.
Pit bull in the store and having children afraid of that really did bother me.
McDonald also said there is no way for older or handicapped shoppers to navigate the aisles that she recorded, loaded with boxes and inventory.
They can't get through. If I can't get through, I know they can't get through.
I asked the mayor what reaction she's received to her comments and viral video.
Most of it has been good. Every place I've gone, people have stopped me to say thank you for saying something about it.
Dollar General has been under the gun in Ohio for months. The state attorney general accusing them of purposely failing to match prices on the shelves with prices on the same items at checkout. News Center 7's I-Team showed you it happened to us, and it happened during county auditor inspections. Now the trouble is store conditions and customer service. The mayor doesn't blame workers. She wants to help them. But she says Dollar General managers on all levels need to make sure customers are treated well no matter where they are spending their dollars.
We want their experience to be the same kind of experience that they would receive in any other area of town.
The mayor and the city manager are working with Goodwill Easter Seals to develop a customer service training program for employees of every business in Trotwood. At least will be offered to them, and they hope that Dollar General is one of those that takes advantage. In Trotwood, Mike Campbell, News Center 7.